Thank you for staying with us. In the build-up to the governorship election coming up this Saturday in Kogi State and to others, the Independent National Electoral Commission at the state headquarters in Kogi says they are 90% ready for Saturday's governorship election. The head Department of Voter Education and Publicity at the INEC state headquarters in the state, Mr. Hali Rusuli, disclosed this in Lokoja, where he said that non-sensitive materials have been distributed to local governments and polling units across the state, while sensitive materials are being awaited. Well, joining us from Kogi State, first of all, is our correspondent, TVC News correspondent, Habidat Lawal, to bring us up to speed with details out of Kogi. Habidat, it's good to see you this morning. Talk to us what the mood is like in Kogi State where you are.
Good morning, Veronica. It's a bright morning in Kogi State today, and the mood of the people as bright as the weather itself. Today we are expected to experience the Independent National Electoral Commission in Kogi State distributing sensitive materials to areas where voting will be taking place, and also from observers group and data that we've gotten so far, over the PVC collection experienced a 94.6%, although there's a dip from the number of registered voters and the PVC that have been collected from 4 years ago, where the state experienced a governorship election. Out of 1.9 million, over 1.9 million PVCs that were with INEC, over 1.8 million eventually collected. You also have Kogi East Senatorial District being the highest number, number with PVCs that have been collected, and followed by Kogi West and of course Kogi Central. We expect race is going to be a 3-man horse race. You have and of course the SDP. There have also been a pent-up grievances, and there have been we've also experienced political parties accusing one another of fomenting trouble and violence. We've also seen a big presence of security agencies since we got here yesterday, Veronica.
From the political parties who are accusing themselves, of trying to foment violence and all of that, but they all signed peace pacts yesterday. What was the mood like yesterday when they were signing a peace pact, and do you feel that would be enough to carry on with the elections without any furore?
Well, the mood suggests that a lot of people are eager to vote on Saturday, and will also experience Kogi State election. And of course, the ruling party governorship candidate is also one of the major contender in this race.
Okay, Habida, we'll definitely get back to you for more updates out of Kogi State. But this time around, we need to move to our studio in Abuja, where we have our guest who will be joining us talking about a member of the House of Representatives representing Ibeju Lekki Federal Constituency, Honorable Bayo Balogun. Honorable Balogun, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
I'm certain you were listening to our correspondent there, where she was telling us, bringing us up to speed with regards to details out of Kogi State leading up to the elections. She mentioned that there's been a huge number of collection of PVCs, even though as against in comparison to 2019, there is a dip. But then there's the aspect of the gladiators, the 3 major contenders, accusing one another leading up to this election. There's been pent-up anger and tension and all of this. How do you see all of the dynamics that we have witnessed in the coming days leading up to the election, perhaps impacting this election on Saturday?
Well, thank you once again. Good morning, viewers. Well, as a monitoring committee of INEC, Well, our role is to see that, to ensure that INEC is working in tandem with the laws and are actually guided by the guidelines stated by the organization. And having gone through their process, I was also our committee was in Bayelsa. Some of us also went to Kogi and Imo to observe the preparedness of INEC for this election, knowing that this is going to be a major decider on the image of INEC after the probably, well, I won't say right or wrong, but the assumption of the public is that INEC had actually not performed credibly well in the last February and March election. Looking at what they've done so far, well, I can say they have actually done well, meeting up with all expectations. All materials have been delivered, both sensitive and non-sensitive materials have been delivered. About 44,000 staff deployed to all the units, both permanent and ad hoc staff. Beavers will be deployed for the election. The IRF2 has been confirmed to be working, and we hope to see it working effectively. Peace accord has been signed, despite some few inches they have during the process. And polls will be starting by 8:30, as said by INEC, and 38 polling units, about 40 polling units in all, will not be having any form of voting due to the fact that there were no voters registration in those units. So, and over 40,000 policemen actually been deployed to all the various centers. So it's an election that is going to take place in about 649 wards and 56 local governments in the 3 states. So we can see, yes, INEC is actually prepared for this election, but all the other aspects, well, might not be that of INEC. When it comes to issue of major security, the police and other security agencies are also to play their parts, and we believe that everybody will play his own part.
Well, INEC had said that he insisted that the beavers cannot be faked because it's normal for political parties to express their apprehension as regards whether the beavers can be faked. But then the chairman insisted that it can be faked. I would like to ask you, do you think that Nigeria or INEC has attained that level of sophistication where its beavers cannot be, be altered or faked?
No, well, that is not about INEC. Technology, INEC is not a technology-based organization. It's just using the technology. And whatever happens in the area of technology should be a general situation within the country. But I believe INEC, beavers is not such a sophisticated equipment. As long as you have data and the machines are okay. And they've also said that if they have problem with any of the beavers, there's always a backup somewhere, probably by the REC, to bring up and to replace if there's any problem. And if the problem persists throughout the period of the election, then they will have to redo the election in such a center. So they made it very flexible already. And during the last election too, we didn't really see much of beavers failure. So where we had issue was actually the RF, the loading of all these results at the polling units. And the size of the election, it was election at all the various states. It's different from off-season election like this where you just have 3 states. So, and if you look at all the size of the population of all the 3 elections put together. It's even not up to that of Lagos State. So we shouldn't have any problem with these with the beavers or any equipments.
All right. INEC, in the course of the week, called on its electoral staffers that they must ensure that they carry out their duty diligently. And the question is, how expedient is it for INEC, to make this kind of statement? Recall that you mentioned earlier that the image and confidence reposed on INEC is at stake as it is.
Well, you see, we have to, first of all, ensure that we separate these issues. What are the functions of INEC and what are the functions of other agencies? Security is not the function of INEC. They have the security agencies to ensure that there's peace and there's security, everybody is secured within the area, and before, during, and after the election. So every other agency too must be prepared to play their own parts. So, and I think most of the problems they have in most of these states now are issue of security problems, which INEC on its own cannot handle. So we appeal to all the security agencies. And for this election, 3 DIGs actually been deployed. So for an off-season election, having 3 DIGs, these are the next command to the IG itself. So I think we are taking this election seriously for government to ensure that if you have the DIGs, at least you have one in the 3 states to oversee the election. And whenever you have a DIG on ground, there will be so many AIG and there will be so many CPs that will be supporting the DIGs. So these are the security issues are the major problem now. INEC is prepared. INEC should not have any issue. In fact, the issue of security also affects the staff of INEC. How secured are they going to be? So these are the issues that we have on ground now. And I think with the plans in place, security plans in place, we shouldn't have any anxiety. So things will be all right. We just want to appeal to everybody. Go out and vote for any party of your choice. Don't get intimidated. Don't bother yourself about what anybody says. Your focus should be going out to vote. And when you get there, behave yourself, be orderly, and don't also cause any trouble. We should not say anything that will instigate the public. We should not say anything that will create crisis. So it should be every one of us coming together to ensure that we have a peaceful election. And we should all know that the victory of any party or any candidate is not worth anybody's life or anybody's blood. So these are the things we should have at the back of our mind. Election will come and will go. So we should prepare ourselves to have a peaceful election and congratulate anybody that wins at the end of the day, so that we can move on with the work of business of the government immediately after the election. So that's my appeal to every one of us.
Well, even though you said that anyone who emerges winner should be congratulated, you are a member of the ruling party, and then definitely you would also wish your party well. And that's where I'm going. Would you say that your party had done enough, in Kogi State over the years during the reign of Governor Yaya Bello for your party to be re-elected as governor this Saturday?
You see, I'm sitting here today as the chairman of House Committee on Electoral Matters. I'm not from Kogi. People in Kogi will take decision. They know what he has done. They know what APC has done. They know the antecedents of the party, about the governor, and that's going to also speak on the way they actually vote. So in any election, elections are local. People will take their decision based on what they see, and we know who has been performing. people in their locality knows the kind of project that has been going on within their area, how well the governor has been taking care of security, how secure the state has been, despite being they call it a conference state. That means a state that has boundaries with many other states, and this should be a very serious challenge, security challenge to any state. And if the state, as of today, is still better off than many of the states, even in the North Central, probably that the governor has been able to do something special to ensure security of that area. So it's going to be left to the people to see how well he has done and how well the party has performed, to be able to say, okay, let's continue to give our support to the party. So like I said, I'm not from Kogi, so it is their responsibility in Kogi to take the decision and vote for the right person.
Indeed, although there have been allegations and counter-allegations with regards to matters of security or insecurity in the state leading up to the election. But my question is going to the matter of the signing of the peace accord. And the committee that is in charge of the signing of this peace accord is concerned that perhaps candidates and their parties may not be committed to this accord at the end of the day. We saw yesterday what happened in Bayelsa. Immediately after the accord was signed, we saw two major candidates, just accusing themselves. There was some heated arguments between both of them. How concerned or how confident are you that this matter of peace accord would hold water on a day like Saturday?
You see, when you sign this peace accord, it's signed by the party and the candidate or their representatives. They are not the ones that will be at the different booths, polling units. People that will cause crisis are the polling units. Polling units are where the crisis starts. That's where the elections happen. So that's why I said our appeal should be to everybody. Those are just matter of intentions to say that, yes, we are ready. But there are many other factors. Even when you hear some noise, even when you talk about domestic violence, it might be the person that's actually causing the violence that is shouting the more. So some of the times we don't just look at the noise. That's why the police have to do their job to investigate what is actually happening. Those are not the functions of INEC when it comes to security matter. That's why I said let's situate these issues at the right places. INEC cannot handle security. INEC is not the one in charge of the peace accord. This is what we all have to do. If there's going to be peace, it's going to be something coming from every one of us. And that's why we have to appeal to people that election will come and will go. You the various units, because these issues happens at the units. If you are standing at your unit and you cause crisis at your unit, anything happens to you, then you are going to be on your own after the election. So many people are still in detention and in police station after the February election, March election. Some people have been incarcerated because of what they just said, not even what they did, what they just said. So you have to watch whatever you say. Whatever you see can be of security implication. So everybody must be prepared. So let's look beyond the signing of peace accord. Let's ensure that we talk to our people. Those are the people that actually cause the problem. The governorship candidate will not go out and shout and say anything anyhow or fight. The party chairman in the state will not just go out and say anything anyhow and fight. These are not the people that will be causing the crisis. These are the followers. Some people who felt their candidate must win at all costs. No candidate must win at all costs. Let the work of the candidate decide. Let the performance of the candidate decide. So, and I'm sure by now everybody already knows who they want to vote for. So we should appeal to the people at the units these are the people causing the crisis, and the police must be ready to do their job. And that's why the number of police officers deployed should be a signal to all troublemakers that government will not tolerate any form of violence or problems at the units. So these are the areas we should be very concerned about. And we want to also appeal to the traditional rulers, youth organizations. These are the people that have control of their areas, and they can talk to their people. Please, everybody, ensure that we talk to people within the areas to ensure crisis, to ensure any problem that could lead to heightening the state of insecurity in the country. You know, we are still going through serious economic issues, and we should not worsen it.
Okay, very quickly, we would like to ask your reaction as regards the latest ruling of the appeal court, sitting in Lagos, that upheld the judgments of the election tribunal that also declared you the winner of the Ibeju Lekki federal constituency election. Talk to us about how this came to you. Were you really expecting it, or you were expecting something different?
Well, these are part of the issues we are having generally as far as the judicial process, in the tribunal process during this election. I think the judiciary actually been overwhelmed by the jobs we are actually giving them. Many cases are not supposed to be in court. The one in my federal constituency is a situation that was not actually warranted. The Labour Party that went to court was not even on the ballot. And because the INEC said they never did any primaries, and they never submitted any name to INEC, and they were not on the ballot because I think they have crisis within their party. So they never did primaries, which meant that no name was actually submitted. So if you now go to court over such a situation, and the Electoral Act 2022 as amended has actually removed omission on the ballot paper as a basis for petition. And people must know that you don't go to court based on sentiment. You go to court based on facts. And yes, some of them said they went to court, their party went to court, and they found out that it was INEC that was at fault, that when they were trying to post the list of their candidates on the INEC portal, that INEC portal was actually faulty at that period. Yes, and there was a judgment that said that INEC should actually receive manually all the list of candidates they actually sent to INEC. But in court, when it comes to court issues, you don't benefit from what you are not part of. The candidate for my federal constituency, Labour Party for my local federal constituency, was not actually part of the people that even went to court. So you cannot even benefit from that. But what INEC is even saying in my own federal constituency, that there was no primaries at all in my own federal constituency. Even if they had sent any name for my federal constituency, that would have been a name not recognized by INEC because they never witnessed any primaries. But if people still go to court with such cases, and after even winning at the tribunal, they even went further to the appeal, wasting the time of the court. And I think serious cost must be attached to anybody who actually wastes the time of the court moving forward. I think these are the areas we are going to look at in the Electoral Act to ensure that people don't just waste the time of court, because the whole of the cases within the southern area was actually brought to Lagos, held in Lagos. They were always working till night every day, even in the weekends. So we must do something about this. And we are even still thinking about how all our cases could be concluded before swearing in. And this is how many months after the election? About 6 months after the election, and we are still in court. I'm sorry, 6 months after 6 months after swearing in. That means we have February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. We are going to about 10 months now after the election, and see people are still in the appeal. So we must do something about this. We cannot continue to do things the wrong way and expect good results. So it's for all of us to search our conscience. The lawyers are cashing out on this situation. They are making a lot of money. And I don't think they are now being fair to their clients. Even when you see a very bad case, you encourage your client to go ahead. And even when they lose, you still tell them, yes, you still have a chance at the appeal. Yes, it's your constitutional right. But these are not rights that you should be abusing. We are stressing out the old judiciary. They have stopped all other cases because of the tribunal. Many other cases are actually being stopped. So this is not good for our old, or for our judicial system and the electoral process in general. So I just hope we'll do something about it very soon.
Right, because this is also a matter of concern for some electorates who say, what is the essence of going out to vote when at the end of the day, it's the courts that will decide?
No, the courts are not deciding. You see, when it comes to election, there are processes. Yes, even if you have the crowd, if you have people behind you, you must follow the right procedure. It's just about saying, I'm a very brilliant student. Yes, I'm sure if I do JAM, I will score 100%. And when they now say, take your form, fill your form, so way, and submit at so time, you forget to submit, or you decide not to submit on time, and you are not claiming that you should go and see your school results. You are a very brilliant student. Did you actually submit your form when you are supposed to submit it? Did you actually go through the normal process of ensuring that you are a good candidate of JAMB at that period, or WAEC, whatever examination you are preparing for? So it's not just for you to say that I'm brilliant. It is for you to have done the right thing, so that your results will be able to come out, and then your efforts will then be rewarded. So it is for every one of us, even our parties now, we should ensure that when they say you should have legal officers as part of your ESCOs, please get a lawyer to be your legal officer. Don't just get anybody to be the legal officer of the party. Because nowadays, the electoral act is no longer what you can joke with. You have the electoral act to guide you, and also have your party constitution to guide you during your primaries. It is in the law that you must decide, you must have your primaries at a designated place, which should be known to INEC. Your party register must be submitted to INEC 30 days before the primaries. If you flout these laws, you are bound to lose. Even if you have the crowd, it doesn't matter. You must go by the rules. So people must learn that there are rules that we must abide by, so that we will no longer be going to court. If I have a candidate, I'm an opponent that has not flouted one of these rules, I don't even have to do much of campaign. I'll just wait for him. After the election, I'll go to court and I'll get the mandate, even if you have the crowd behind him. It's not just about having the crowd. So let the public also know. Advise whoever you are following, which party you are following, or whichever candidate you are following, to ensure that they do the right thing, so that they will not waste your votes. And I'm sure that in all the judgments, you could see that most of them are actually, I think, less than 10% were actually overturned at the Court of Appeal. That shows that the judgments at the judiciary level too are actually near perfect. So we just have to move on and ensure that we do the right thing.
Absolutely. Well, all right, thank you for staying with us. We're still looking at the election in Kogi State, and we still have our guest in our Abuja studio with us discussing this matter. Now, let's get back to the matter of INEC being 90% ready for the election in Kogi State. INEC is also saying that its result viewing portal now has authenticating features. Could you walk us through or talk to us about these features?
I didn't get that. You said?
The result viewing portal, INEC's result viewing portal, it says there are new authenticating features to authenticate results. as part of its improvement after last election, this is part of its improvement for this off-cycle election. Could you talk to us about these features?
Okay, the issue about the IRF is that even many of us don't even know how to access the IRF. We don't even know what the IRF is all about. The IRF is just a board, the portal, the website of INEC, where the results of the units are posted. That you could snap the result. They use the beavers to snap the result, and you upload it to the IRF. It's like the portal of INEC is a website. So now you need to know the name of the website before you can even access it. An average Nigerian does not even know how to access the IRF. And it is only your result, the result of your booth, because there's a code for every unit, every booth. So if you want to check, you can only check one result at a point in time. So you can only check the results of your booth or any other areas where you feel you want to check. So it's not a place where you'll be seeing collation of the numbers. No, it's just the photocopy. And that's why we said every one of us, every party has a copy of the result they want to check on the RF. Every electoral officer at the unit have also pasted one of the results, a copy of that result, at the board at the unit where election took place. So many of us even snapped it ourselves. So what we are even going to look for at the IRF is already with us. So now what INEC is even doing is just enlightening people on how to even access the RF, because it's not just enough for them to put the result on the RF. We must be able to access it and see. So there are lots of seminars, discussion on people accessing the RF. So that is what they've just been doing, to educate people on how to make it very easy, seamlessly access the RF, to even see. And what the major function of the RF is even supposed to be for the use of INEC, because if any of the officers got attacked along the way and the result, the hard copy he has with him was hijacked or torn or whatever happens to it, they have the copy on the RF to check with. And even if there is any discrepancy between the parties, because a copy has been given to every party present at the election, and if for one reason or the other some of them decide to be smart and you try to doctor the result, or even if the INEC officer, the polling unit officer, decide to doctor the result after leaving the polling unit, they will now check on the one on the RF, because it has been posted before you leave the place. Even during the last election, they were posted, they were uploaded, but the way at which it was getting on the portal was where we had problems with. It was already sent by the officers, so it was already in the cloud, but getting loaded on the platform was where the problems actually came from. So it's just like you have a funnel. When you are putting so much water in a funnel, you know, at the small funnel end, the water will be dropping slowly, because we have so many data coming in the same time. So it will take some time for the water to pass through, and that's why it will take some time for all the data to get uploaded on the RF. So those are the problems they had them. And now, you know, from technology, they can increase the gigabyte or the capacity of such of the RF to ensure that, okay, all this information will go in faster. But even now that it's even an off-season election, there won't be so much data coming in at the same time again. So it's just INEC telling people how to access, and not that they're actually bringing in another technology. They just enhance what they have on ground to ensure that they increase the capacity so that people will be able, all the data will be able to go in at the same time. And also teaching people how to access it. That's even the most important thing. Many people complaining about the RF don't even know how to access what they're even complaining about. When we went to Bayelsa, the REC was even giving us a situation like that, where they had a gathering of people who are supposed to even know. And they asked them, How many people here can access DRF to see the result of their unit? And over 70% of the people who are supposed to know could not even do it. Then why are we shouting over what we don't even know anything
That's
about?
Right. And that's to say that INEC, sorry to pause.
The major breaker, the major icebreaker in the last election.
Right, and that's to say that INEC has a lot of responsibilities to, that create that particular awareness for the electorate. But then the question I would like to ask you as the chairman, committee on electoral matters is the fact that, haven't we come of age to vote side by side while we are continuing with our electoral activities? For instance, Imo, Kogi, Bayelsa will be on some sort of lockdown during these electioneering processes, and that would definitely affect economic activities. Do you not feel that we should get to that level, or we ought to have gotten to that level where we'll go with the electoral practices, voting during the elections, and still going to market or moving from one place to the other? Haven't we come of age to do that?
You see, must we copy everything done abroad? We are used to the system. Even when we ensure that there is no movement, we still find crisis happening in one area or the
Right. We'll definitely get back to the Honorable. Okay.
Honorable, are you there?
Yeah.
Please carry on.
Yes, I'm saying let's take this a step after the other. Let's get our system right first. We are still talking about uploading results, INEC not being efficient. Let's get the system well. Then by the time we get the system well, the issue of this movement got to do with the issue of security. By the time we get the system right, then we'll now start looking at, okay, are people now secured? By the time we find out that elections are now better secured, then we open up the gate then for people to be able to move around during elections. Because you are still trying to manage what we have on ground now. Let's take it one after the other. If you allow people to move around today, people can just cause crisis in one area and go back to another area and cause crisis. Because as it is today, if you want to go and cause crisis at any unit, you need to go through in your vehicles and carry some weapons and all those stuff. So
that's the essence of deploying security personnel in the first instance, who are everywhere. We see the huge number of security personnel that have been deployed. Can they handle that?
You see, if you have to do that, if you allow people to be moving around, that means people will want to come from their work or from other places to go and vote on the day of election. That means you'll be stopping every vehicle to check. And now, people are not patient at all. I'm going for my election, and you are not searching my vehicle. Do you want me to miss the election? Are you part of the plan to ensure that you are blocking us from voting, defranchising us? So this will bring some other issues. I said, let's take it one after the other. Let's perfect the system. Some people are talking about diaspora voting. And I'm saying, look, we have not even solved the one we have at hand. Some people are talking about electronics voting. We have not solved the one at hand. Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, tried electronic voting. They are still in court now. So we must try some of these systems. Some of them will try with the off-season. Yes, maybe one of these days we'll look at some of the off-season, off-cycle election and try and let people move around. And let's see how it works out. We'll look at some of the...
Unfortunately, we have to end this conversation now. Honorable Bayo Balogun, member of the House of Representatives representing Ibeju Lekki Federal Constituency, thank you for your time on the program.